You need to be able to identify which keywords are working to make sure that money is really going in a productive direction. As far as other things, like you can put numbers on email campaigns or possibly a QR code to send them to a particular landing page on your website that has a unique number there. You would have a unique number on Facebook ads versus Facebook homepage because you're paying for the ads and you want to make sure that you're getting a return on that investment instead of the free number that's on the Facebook homepage. But basically, anywhere you are reaching out to customers through Google My Business, Google Local Services, Google Ads, Click to Call, Bing ads, you want to be able to identify that unique source, and that requires its own unique number.
Do you measure the marketing in your business? We spend a bunch of money on marketing, but how do we actually know what is working, what is not, what could be done better? Today, we're going to bring in a couple marketing experts. I have Chris and Herb back in my old hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. Or I know, Herb, that's where you're from. I'm not sure if, Chris, that's where you're at. But welcome to the program, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Paul.
Are you in the ATL as well?
I am, just north.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I used to live in Cumming, Georgia. So.
Okay. Yep. No, I'm in Roswell.
Okay. Yeah, I know it well. Well, can you explain what CallRail does and how you can help lawn care businesses measure their marketing?
Yeah, I would love to. So CallRail, just at the most basic, is a software platform. We have several different aspects to that platform. The introductory part of the platform is what we call call tracking. And so call tracking allows us to understand where every one of those calls that you have coming into your business is coming from. Is it being generated by a direct mailer? Is it being generated by a billboard? Is it being generated by your website? Is it being generated by a PPC campaign that you're running? Maybe some Google LSA ads. So that what we do is we allow you to put phone numbers on each of those different marketing channels, and then allow you to take those channels, understand where your calls are coming from, and then determine, is this marketing channel working? Is this one not working? And so you can then identify, once you've identified those that work, you can sit there and say, hey, I'm going to put my money in this one as opposed to putting my money in this one.
That makes a lot of sense. So let's say somebody's doing a every door direct mail where you kind of send a postcard out to a specific zip code, or even a door hanger, you're walking them up. You would get a specific phone number to that lawn care business owner that they would put on that marketing effort. And then they would have a different number, maybe on their Google or Facebook campaign. And so is that an accurate summary of how you dish out different numbers?
Yep, absolutely. So you would be able to, you take your direct mail or your door hanger, you put in a unique phone number on that piece of marketing material. Then based off that unique phone number, you can understand every call that you have coming in that is related to that phone number, versus you put a different phone number on your Google or your Facebook ads. You then understand what calls are coming in from those Google or Facebook ads, and you can see which one really should be more, which one has been beneficial to you, which one's driving the most leads, and which one should you really put more money into.
I love it. That sounds great. What would you say, Chris, are the most common ways that you see businesses marketing effectively from your guys' research? What's working best out there? Specifically, if you have any data on the home service industry, but I'm just curious, what's getting the most leads?
I mean, I think overall, and it really goes into all the revenues that they're bringing in. Google and Facebook are the predominant digital marketing channels, and they're definitely the ones that drive a ton of leads. But I also think that they're becoming more and more expensive. And as they become more and more expensive, it becomes more difficult for a smaller business to compete with the amount of expense that you have to spend on a Google or a Facebook. So I do think it's in some respects, the digital marketing has become so ubiquitous that now it is beneficial for you to go back and work through some more localized channels where you can get a better return on your investment. I mean, they're just from my personal experience, the person that I have who works on our lawn and does all of our aspects of landscaping, he was a word of mouth referral. So, I just think it depends on how you're trying to do it. But I also think that there are areas where you can really generate some good momentum with localized marketing.
Fantastic. I think my research shows the same thing. Facebook ads seem to work very well.
Mhm.
Especially you can kind of micro target those. So you'd have a phone number for the Facebook ad, then a different phone number on your door hangers, and then you can kind of evaluate, which one is working best, what you should maybe double down on. Herb, I know we had a very detailed onboarding call where you showed me the ropes of how it all works on the back end, but explain to someone watching or listening, what features CallRail has for their business.
Well, as is the magic word out there right now, the AI tools that we offer are very helpful. We have conversation intelligence, which allows you to uh, get the transcripts of the calls. You can also get summaries of the calls. So a 15-minute call may boil down to a few sentences. Most importantly, you are able to listen to the words people are saying during the conversation and tag the call appropriately. For example, if someone was a referral, like Chris just mentioned in that example, you can tag the call referral. You can tag the call that someone scheduled an appointment, that someone requested a quote. Which of your services are they asking about? If you are interested in adding another service, but you're not sure if the demand is there, you can listen for if people are asking about it. And so you'll have real numbers to put into how often are you hearing that. And this saves you time. You get more insight with less time, and it works like a force multiplier for a limited staff. These kinds of tools are not just beneficial for larger companies, they're outstanding to make a one-person office with a dispatcher that's also your office manager and handling all of that, to let them be more effective with less time, automate reports. And this is very, very helpful.
So good. Herb, can you move your camera so it's your head's at the top instead of your nice ceiling there? Let's see. Oh, there we go. I like that.
You look more appropriately 5'2", like Prince.
Yeah, I like your piano too over there. That thing looks nice. I used to work for a moving company, and them things take like an army to move a piano.
Oh, can't imagine.
I want to hear some success stories. Let me know. Do you guys have any stories of a customer who used your services and it brought them a ROI or an awareness of where the ROI is in their marketing efforts?
Chris?
Go ahead, Herb. Go ahead and detail some.
So I had one company out in Wisconsin, and they just started using CallRail. They were breaking away from a marketing company that was charging them, a couple $1,000s a month for something that they can do on their own, because they had an in-house marketer that they just hired. So they were able to save themselves a ton of money and get better insight than what the marketing company was giving them. And they were in a huge growth phase. They had like, I think 6 or 7 salesmen. About a year later, they had 14 salesmen, barely able to keep up with volume. And they were able to reinvest that money very intelligently because they could track it all themselves without spending a couple of $1,000s on a different company. They were able to reinvest that money into their own marketing, and it was paying a lot of dividends for them. So they were growing like crazy. And so that was very good for them. And they were using our what I was just telling you about, listening to what people are saying during the calls, to tag it, to give them insight and give them direction on where to invest their money, what kind of outreach is being most effective. We also added a new AI tool that wasn't available then, but now that we have, called Convert Assist. And Convert Assist is designed with the goal of increasing your rate of lead conversion. It provides you great tools. It provides coaching on whoever's answering the calls, the things they're doing well, the things that they can improve upon, along with talk tracks to help you achieve the goals that have been identified during the call by the AI. It generates a few minutes after a call ends, and anybody on your team can access it if you want to give them access. It's an outstanding tool.
Cool. Do you have any testimonials, Chris?
I mean, I just think it's, we hear it from all sorts of different contractors that we have benefited both their ability to find better leads, their ability to sit there within those leads and be able to sift out the ones that are the highest value, their ability to then reduce the cost that they're spending on marketing or reduce the cost per lead that they have, because they're able to identify those right channels that are driving the most leads and eliminate those that aren't. So it just runs a gamut from, not just landscaping, but cleaning services, uh, all the way through to plumbing and electrical businesses that are using our product. We have almost 8,000 home services contractors who use CallRail. So it is something that really works in the sweet spot of what the home services business needs.
Can you say that number again, Chris? I cut out. You said how many users you had, but I didn't hear it.
In terms of home services customers, we have almost 8,000.
Wow. That's powerful. Go ahead.
One thing, if I can throw this out there, we're talking about tracking calls, which we do very well. We also track the form submissions. Just wanted to make sure I emphasize that, because most of the people that go to your website, 90% of them are going to get the information they want, leave, and then come back later. The remaining 10% will break up into people who place calls and people who submit forms. So you can also see which marketing is driving those form submissions to give you a complete picture of what kind of response your marketing is getting.
I wanted to ask you guys about Jobber. So in our industry, the most popular CRMs I would say is Jobber, Service Autopilot, LMN, Yardbook, but Jobber's got the market share by a ton. Do you guys integrate with Jobber? If so, how does that work for someone who's already, using a CRM daily to run their business?
Yeah, we definitely integrate with Jobber. We just introduced that in the spring of this year. So we are able to take both information from our call tracking product and information from our conversation intelligence product and move that into your Jobber dashboard. So that would give you all of your caller details, all of the calls that came in based off those caller details. You will have a call log. And then if you're using our premium conversation intelligence product, the one that Herb referred to that has transcripts and summaries of all your calls, that can also be moved into your Jobber dashboard, so that not only do you have a log of those calls and the details of all of those callers, you have summaries of the calls themselves within Jobber.
Wow, that's cool. What would you say? Were you going to say anything else there, Chris?
No, I mean, I think it allows you to use time and save the time that you are using for things that have been traditionally done manually, allow them to be done electronically, and use that time to better operate your business, to better do, if you are the one who is doing the landscaping, to be involved in that. If you're just managing crews, to be involved in that management and to do it in a better way so that you move away from administrative tasks.
What would you say is a best practice? Somebody who owns a lawn care business, they haven't been doing call tracking, meaning they got one phone number for their business and it's on their truck and it's on their door hanger and it's on their website and it's on their Facebook ad and it's, they just got one number, right? What's the best practices for someone who's like, okay, I'm gonna try CallRail. I'm gonna try, tracking these and studying these analytics a little bit better. What are those best practices for a lawn care business, and how does that look like, Herb? With like what we did, where you kind of showed me everything of getting everything set up. Can you kind of explain that to somebody who's out there and is thinking, you know what, that makes sense?
Yeah, the best way to track this is to get a different phone number for your different outreach to your clientele. That's the only way we can tell them apart to see which one is working compared to the other ones. Typically on a website, we will have a pool of numbers that can tell you where anybody who came to your website, where they came from. So you can identify the marketing. Especially if you're using PPC with Google, we can identify the keywords, which is where your money is going with Google. So if you need to be able to identify which keywords are working to make sure that money is really going in a productive direction. As far as other things, like you could put numbers on email campaigns or possibly a QR code to send them to a particular landing page on your website that has a unique number there. You would have a unique number on Facebook ads versus Facebook homepage, because you're paying for the ads and you want to make sure that you're getting a return on that investment instead of the free number that's on the Google Facebook homepage. But basically, anywhere you are reaching out to customers through Google My Business, Google Local Services, Google Ads, Click to Call, Bing Ads, you want to be able to identify that unique source, and that requires its own unique number.
That's so good.
Yeah, and we can direct them however and wherever you want. If you have a group of a couple of sales guys instead of just one person in the office, we can have both of their phones ring at once. Whoever gets it first handles that call, or we can direct everything just to one number if you prefer. We can have an overnight attendant programmed in to send someone to voicemail at night, or if there's some kind of emergency service that's needed, they can select to contact someone who's attending to that outreach mode.
In addition to us learning how to kind of study the marketing and be like, okay, the Facebook ad is got a huge ROI. Let's do more Facebook ads. I feel like there's got to be a customer service improvement for some of these 8,000 home service businesses that you worked for or work, your customers. Do you have any stories of how actual customer service has been improved through this system?
One nice thing is that you can have a backup routing if someone's on the phone. So people have to be attended to, or they're going to call your competitor just as soon as they hang up with you. So if you get them to a backup phone number where someone else can answer, obviously that's going to help your bottom line as well as the customer experience. We have notifications where if somebody calls and hung up while you were on the line with somebody else, that you will be provided their name and phone number so you can reach out to them as soon as you hang up that first call. I typically do not leave voicemails on company emails or company voicemails. So I'll hang up, but occasionally I'll get a call back 5 minutes later. Hey, I was on the other line. I'm just reaching back out. I saw that you called. We provide that similar kind of service. So it allows you to reach out to everyone as quickly as possible.
Got it.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Paul, so my background before I came to CallRail, I worked for a flooring wholesaler for 11 years. And as part of that, eventually I was doing our strategy and marketing, but there was a point where I had our customer service team. And the only way that I could understand the calls that were going back and forth between our customer service team and our customers was either by sitting in the middle of the customer service team and being able to listen as they were talking to people, or I could go and access an individual call at a particular time. So it would be whatever live calls were going on, I could go in there and I could listen. But I didn't have easy access at all to all of the calls, and I didn't have access to either transcripts of the call.
It looks like Chris.
Conversation intelligence product.
1 second, Chris. I can see her in real time. There you are. You're back now.
Yeah.
You froze there for the last 15 seconds, but you're back.
Oh, sorry about that. Do you know where what I had
You said you can fit in on a live call.
You're saying you didn't
only way that I could. Yeah, you just did not have access at all to understand what your team was saying when they were calling with people. And what we have with our premium conversation intelligence product is the ability for you to access every call that has gone from your business to its customers, so that you can then have a recording call, you have a transcript of that call, and you have a summary of that call. So that if you have a particular team and you want to know all of the calls that one of your agents had and summaries of all of those calls, the sentiments from all of those calls, possible keywords that were in all of those calls, so that you could see a potential agent who may be performing really well or may need a lot of improvement, you can easily access that. If you have a promotion that you might be running and you want to make sure your whole team is talking about that promotion every time that you are with each call to a customer or to a prospect, you can tag that name of a promotion and be able to then go back and see all of those calls. So it really gives you the ability to understand the interactions that your team is having with your customers in a way that I couldn't have at all even 5 or 6 years ago. And that also moves into our new product that we've introduced, which is Convert Assist, which takes that to the next level of providing call coaching for each of those calls.
So basically, you guys can measure the marketing, but you also have a element of improving customer service. Is
You
that
can have,
Yep.
absolutely.
cool? Well, let folks know if they're like, you know what, I want to try this out. I want to kind of just see what it would look like for me to get different phone numbers for my different marketing campaigns and have these calls recorded and all of that. How do you even go from not having a connection to CallRail to getting onboarded, getting it embedded into your website and all of that? What does that look like, that onboarding process?
So normally the first step is to schedule a demo, or you could just open up a free trial right away. With a demo, we'll give you a guided tour. Someone like me would handle the demo. We'd give you a guided tour of the product after we try to understand what you're trying to do. We want it to speak to you. It's very scalable and very customizable, but it has to work for your situation. So we have that demo. We start the trial. The trial typically lasts 2 weeks. We can play with that date if we need to, depending on the circumstances. We get everything set up early on so that you're able to try it. And as questions come up and you think of different ways you want to use it, we make sure that it's set up for you to do that. And you get to try the different products for free, all of them if you want. We highly recommend that to see if it's a product that's going to give you value for what you're paying for it. And then you have options of paying if you want to do monthly, if you want to save an extra 10%, you can go with our annual plan. There's a lot of different ways to make this work for you.
Yeah, and I did the onboarding call with her personally. You did a really, really good job in explaining everything. We ran out of time, so you only showed me the tip of the iceberg. But that's, if somebody wants to just try the demo, that's free, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And we'll put that link in the show notes so you guys can click on that and either would you recommend doing the demo and then the free trial or the free trial or?
Yeah, normally that's the order of it. People
Demo?
do a demo. Some people just open up the free trial and then they'll schedule a demo. Either way, we will make it work for you. You don't have to put the cart before the horse on that one. But once we get everything set up, once we understand what you're trying to do, we'll be placing test calls. You'll be using it in the wild to see if anything else comes up that we didn't talk about initially. But normally we have it set up early on. You get a full 2 weeks to try it and ask any additional questions, try other products, see if maybe this is worth it when in the beginning you weren't quite sure. And yeah, it works out really well that way.
Cool. Well, is there anything we're leaving out here that needs addressed or that you wanted to share with a lawn care business owner who needs to take their marketing, customer service to the next level?
If I could say one thing, my experience in working with people in the lawn care industry is their time is valuable. They don't have a lot of time. The hardest thing is to get them on the phone, to give us the 30 minutes or so to get everything set up, to give them the benefits. Take the time, schedule that with us so that we can help get you set up. And you'll be the beneficiary of it all at the end of the day.
Yeah, I would just add to that, Paul, it doesn't matter what size business you have. If your business is just starting out, it's a fairly small, it's just one crew, or you might have 35 or 40 crews. We can help you improve your marketing and turn more of the leads that you get into your customers.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Explain that a little bit more, Chris, of turning your leads into customers. Like how do you run the marketing campaign and then actually get paid to, start service on their property?
That's where, things like lead conversion, understanding how many times you are taking a lead and making it a customer, how many times they're actually converting. That's where things like call coaching or the follow-up to the calls where you find different things that need to be discussed with a potential homeowner, things where you're improving and understanding what was discussed with the homeowner on a particular call. All of those, I think, go to conversion and moving those leads to customers.
That's good. And again, these calls are recorded. So if you're like, Mrs. Smith called and then she didn't sign up, you can go back and listen and be like, well, you scared her away, like when you started talking about, how you're whatever, the dog ran out at the neighbor's house and they got hit by a bus. Well, I mean, I don't know what you could say to screw up a sale, but you can go and analyze, what was said on the phone of why, or hopefully it's a good result, but if it's not, you can get to the bottom of what are we doing wrong here.
Yeah, the call coaching is a very useful part of that. And just the recordings in general. Even if you don't go with the call coaching product, you still have the ability to listen to the recordings. But using the other AI tools saves you time while getting more insight to get to the bottom of what's working and what's not.
Okay. And what I heard you say, Chris, because yesterday on the program, the fella, I think he does 18 million a year. He's got a ton of crews, over 100, I believe. I mean, they're the biggest company in New Hampshire. And so we got guys like that are out there. But we also have guys, we call them chucking the truck. They're just 1, 2, 3 crews. They're all over Atlanta. You can't get to, can't go to a quick trip without seeing, guys that run smaller operations, but you can customize a plan, or you have a plan for the small crew or 1 crew company. And also for, a company that's gigantic. That's a fair assessment.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate your guys' time. And this is something that I think our industry, I told you before we hopped on the call, when you look at HVAC and plumbing and painters and roofers and all in lawn care, it's like our marketing is we got to get better at this, and got to get better answering the phone. Like I think Herb, you and I talked, it's hard to call a business and like literally talk to a human. And so we have a massive area of improvement in our specific trade, the lawn care landscaping industry. And you guys really make it easy, for us to get to the next level in our marketing and customer service. So click the link in the show notes and then get a demo, and you can go from there. Is there any final words, anything I'm leaving out here?
We love working with contractors, and just we think that we can help improve the business and really get you to where you want to go with your business.
Love it. I heard about you guys. There's a painter in Florida, Brandon. I follow him, and he's been talking about you guys. So that's how I found out that CallRail even existed. And then I was like, man, this is genius. So hoping that several of our listeners will take the demo and get on top of measuring those marketing, so you can factually say Facebook ads is where it's at, or door hangers is where it's at, or postcard. I mean, you could even do postcard ED, every door direct mail, versus door hangers, because guys argue all day long, but there's no facts behind it because I got the same number on both of them. So if you have a different number on both of those, then you can actually know where to double down on in marketing.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of the different numbers, is to give you that insight.
Love it.